Hi, my name is Mark Johnson. I'm a retired M&R employee, and I'm here standing in this 7-year-old plantation holding 1-year-old seedlings from La Maison Verte. This jack pine on my left and black spruce on my right. And we're about to see how, with good planting, this 1-year-old seedling can grow into this 7-year-old and end up as this mature forest behind me.
My name's Brad Ekstrom. I'm president, managing partner of Thunderhouse Forest Services. We've been in business since 1994, working in Hearst. We started off planting. Our business has expanded over the years. We do a lot more than just tree planting now, but we started planting, we keep planting, we love planting. One of the sources of pride I have is this is my 33rd year being involved in tree planting. There's a huge amount of logistics that goes into tree planting. You move a whole camp, a small town, 80 planters and staff and cooks and tents and dining tents. This year we're moving 3 times. And all this can't take more than a couple days out of your tree planting window. This year we have 8 weeks essentially to put 4.5 million trees in the ground. And we don't want to lose a half day. We don't want to lose an hour of planting time.
My name's Harris Franklin. I'm from Oakville, Ontario. And yeah, I'm a crew boss here for Thunderhouse Forest Services. So my job description, I guess, would be to facilitate the tree plant for a crew of tree planters. So that would be managing the land they're in, making sure they have trees on the road, making sure they have enough trees to fill their land. And then I'm also a quality controller for them. So I assess the land, I assess their tree quality. I walk throughout the land and make sure they've planted everywhere they're supposed to. In this land, there's very little to no site prep. They've just come in and logged, as you can see. Here's the piled timber behind. And yeah, so it's more of a head game for them. They have to plan out their boundaries without any sort of guideline.
So this type of land is called unscarified. This land is a bit more difficult to plant in that the planters have to cut the pieces themselves, manage the land themselves. So if you come a little bit this way, we can look at some planted trees. So this would be a good example. So this blue flagger indicates someone's boundary line. And here is a planted tree. Planters often drop flagger on the ground so they can see their trees easier, because these little trees often get lost in all of this rubbish and sticks. So this is a planted tree. Now ideally you would want a tree 7 feet forward from that and 7 feet side spacing and 7 feet behind us. So if there is missed land or a missed spot, I'll say, oh, you go back to your piece and I flagged an area that was missed, or an area that failed because your trees weren't deep enough in the hole, or you didn't close the hole properly, or you didn't screef enough. Because as you can see, there's a lot of, we call this duff, a lot of duff before you get to the exposed soil. So planters are expected to scree first to get to the exposed organic soil. Then they make their cut, put the tree in, and close it shut. And then we have radios to communicate with the tree guys, with the tree delivery guys, on what species we want. So oftentimes when we arrive to the block, we'll have a quick walkthrough. We'll say this looks pretty high and dry, so we can plant white spruce or jack pine. When we're in swampy areas, we look for swamp indicators, in which case we'll plant black spruce. Black spruce is your most versatile species. It can grow in high and dry or wet, whereas jack pine and white spruce are a bit more specific. A true tree planter, a good tree planter, has all three species going at a time sometimes. You just look, you grab a little bit of both, so you can sort of change as the land changes.
That way we get the dirty Thunderhouse ladle in there too.
I'm Quinton Mills and I'm from New Zealand. I came to Canada about 4 years ago. I originally came here to snowboard, so the mountains what brought me here, but I got a job offer from a friend of mine. She asked me if I wanted to come tree planting. I was out of money, I was being a ski bum, and I took the job. She put me into delivery, so I delivered for a few years, and then I moved up into camp boss, and that's pretty much how I got this job. I like the outdoors. Back home in New Zealand I do a lot of hunting, a lot of tramping, and I love it here. It's bigger than New Zealand. It's the great outdoors. There's bears, bears I would call them, and everyone laughs at me. There's moose, there's everything we don't have. It's big, it's grand, I love it. We're about halfway through our contract, I think. As of the paperwork I looked last night, we're at about 2.5 million trees. So we're just trying to have trees in front of them. We're trying to have land in front of them. That's it, we're here to plant the trees. Yeah, this is how we do it.
It's been very difficult to find people from Hearst that want to do that work. It's hard to find people who want to do that work in the first place. It's the hardest job you'll ever do for most people.
You make a little claw like this and you grab the tree out of your bag. You scoop it up in your hand like that. But doing that over and over gives you like carpal tunnel. As well as the tendons get overworked. Some people get tendonitis in their shovel hand from prying open all the time. Some people get tendonitis in their hands that they grab the trees with.
Il y a une expression qui dit la cream. Quand on plante dans la cream, c'est un beau terrain noir. Tu rentres ta pelle du premier coup, tu mets ton arbre, tout va bien. Ici, là, on voit c'est assez vert, c'est assez rempli de branches, rempli de troncs. Fait que ça c'est pas de la cream. Ça, c'est plus difficile.
And then my favorite one is where people swell up from too many bug bites. You look silly. You know, you're here all week doing the same motion, hopefully 2,000 to 3,000 times a day. Every day.
Et que moi, je suis de Montréal. Je suis venue faire du tree plant il y a 2 ans pour la première fois. C'est une amie qui m'avait encouragée à venir. Puis finalement, j'ai rencontré des bons amis. Puis j'ai eu beaucoup de plaisir. À ce moment-là, c'était plus pour partir en voyage que j'étais venue pour amasser un peu de ça avant de partir. Puis je suis revenue 1 an et demi plus tard et je me suis trouvé un emploi dans mon domaine. Moi, je suis psychoéducatrice. Et finalement, je m'ennuyais, la saison arrivait, fait que j'ai appelé la boss. Puis j'ai dit, j'ai 4 semaines de congé, est-ce que je peux venir faire du tree plant pendant mes vacances? Il a dit, ben oui, pas de problème, viens quand tu veux. Fait que je suis ici pour 4 semaines. Il me reste encore 2 semaines et demie. Puis qui sait, peut-être que c'est ma dernière saison. Peut-être que je vais revenir l'année prochaine. On sait jamais.
Moi, mon nom, c'est Stéphanie. J'ai 22 ans, je suis étudiante. Puis, en fait, comme Ariane aussi, je suis venue pour la première fois il y a 2 ans faire du tree plant. Moi, c'était pour l'expérience, pour apprendre mon anglais. Je voulais me mettre en forme. J'aime le plein air. Je me suis dit, je vais aller planter des arbres. Puis, on m'avait dit aussi que c'est très difficile. C'est un espèce de défi là, pour moi de faire du tree plant. Donc, j'ai rencontré des personnes incroyables, extraordinaires. Puis, c'est pour ça que je suis encore ici cette année. Là. J'avais besoin de sortir de la ville. On n'a pas Internet. On dort dans des tentes. On prend pas de douche. C'est un autre monde. Ça fait du bien de vivre ça, là, cet autre monde-là.
Ouais.
Conditions out here are quite extreme, you know, rain, bugs. It snowed like a week and a half ago. I think June 3rd it snowed out here. Gets pretty, you know, harsh. We're out in the bush. And so like having a positive attitude, staying keen, staying excited to plant trees is a very important part of making money out here. They all thrive off, you know, that sense of camaraderie and competition and push each other to plant more trees and make more money.
Fait qu'on a commencé à 7h30 ce matin. Avec le soleil, c'est le fun qu'on arrive de bonne heure parce qu'il est rendu à midi, 1h, là, on manque d'énergie. Là, c'est dur, le soleil est fort, il fait quoi, 30 degrés Celsius? Là? Fait que c'est dur. Là.
On a toujours faim, toujours soif. À 2h, il n'y a plus de bouffe, puis là...
Il n'y a plus d'eau, il n'y a plus rien.
Il n'y a plus de bouffe, il n'y a plus d'eau, on rampe. Mais ouais, notre journée commence à 5h30 le matin quand même. On met notre cadran, puis le soir, c'est dur d'être couché avant 9h30, fait que ça fait pas des grosses journées, on voit pas la noirceur. Pas des grosses nuits, je veux dire, on voit pas la noirceur. On se couche, le soleil est encore levé, on se lève, il est déjà levé. Fait que, non, c'est ça, c'est exigeant.
Mais la bouffe est bonne, en tout cas. On mange bien en tabarouette ici. C'est meilleur qu'à la maison.
It's really an interesting situation being out in the bush with a bunch of people that you don't really know, and you get to know people on a real level. And I've met a lot of friends out here that you probably wouldn't meet otherwise in the world. And it's 2 months of my year, so I come out for the job and the company, I guess.
I love it. Just being out here. I'm camping for 2 months and I'm getting paid for it, so yeah, it's good.
Puis on fait des semaines de 5 jours on, 1 journée off. Mais des fois, ça varie parce qu'on est en agriculture, fait qu'il faut avoir une production, il faut avoir planté un certain nombre d'arbres avant la fin de la saison. Fait que la semaine passée, finalement, on a travaillé 9 jours de suite. Donc la journée off, là...
C'était bonne.
C'était bonne. C'était bien mérité.
Yeah, just to take a day to not plant trees. We all go into town. Everyone crowds into a tiny laundromat. I think a lot of the time, especially in forestry communities like Hearst, the tree planters kind of get a bad rep. Just because, they come into town, they let off steam. That's the only side that's seen. But the reason they're letting off so much steam is because they're out here in the sun and the bugs and, really trying to reforest this ground, really trying to put the trees back. So.
Well, why aren't they clean? They're always so dirty. They come to town and they're dirty. Well, they're coming to town to get clean. They live in the dirt, or they put their hands in the dirt 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 times a day. When they eat their sandwiches, that dirt from their hands is going into them. They're sweating, the bugs are there. They don't necessarily want to smell all that good when they're in the bush. But when they come to town, it's their day to unplug, it's their day to catch up with family, it's their day to have a couple cold beers instead of a warm beer in their tent. And they tend to, they work hard and they play hard.
You meet all these new people, they're all different, and you get to know them, they become close to you, you know who they all are, you're with them every day and you teach them to become who they are, the good planters or bad planters, and I really like that aspect.
One of the things that the tree planters do for the forests of Ontario and for the town is they spend a lot of dollars in town, they bring a lot of economic opportunity to the town. They put a lot of their blood, sweat and tears into regenerating the forest, making sure that there's a sustainable forest here that the town of Hearst and the rest of the industry can rely on. On the Hearst forest, since the beginning of organized tree planting, there's been approximately 175 million trees. The 175th million tree went in this year. 15 townships, 15 or 16 townships that have been replanted over the years by First Nations, by students, by Hearst residents. I talked to some of the, I call them the old guys, and they remember planting trees in 1964. Everybody has a job to do, and by the end of the season, you're a family and nobody wants the season to end, although everybody wants the season to end. They don't want to see it end because they'll miss their friends, but man, they don't want to touch another tree. They don't want to know anything about trees. Till maybe Christmas when the feeling comes back into their big toe.